Yo, what is up? It's that time, it's that hour, it's Righteous with another video. And before I get into the title of the video, I want you guys to go and check out the description in the bottom. There's a Patreon link there. Go and check it out. I'm under 1,000 subscribers, so I'm gonna need a little bit of more of a push from you guys so I can continue to branch out to the rest of the YouTube community. Same thing with my Instagram. If you want to check that out, the link is also in the description. Feel free to help out, support, share, like. You already know what to do. Subscribe. Let's get on to the rest of the video. So if you didn't watch the first video that I put out last week, the video that I put out last week was more about how Triple G can beat Canelo. Now this one is going to be how he can lose to Canelo. It's not necessarily so much about Canelo. It's more about what Triple G can do to lose the fight, because you know sometimes boxers, they self-sabotage and they do things that don't work. So right now I'm gonna hit you with a couple bullet points, and I want you guys to kind of interact with me when it comes to this, whether you want to leave it in the comments or just check out this couple bullet points that I want to bring up to you guys, and I want to see what you guys have to say. Now the first thing I'm going to ask you guys to go up against this version of Canelo, the one that lost to Bivol, the one that's been, you know, fighting guys at 175, 168, which Golovkin do you prefer? Like, do you prefer the one that fought Lemieux? Who do you prefer? Do you prefer the one that fought Martin Murray? Do you prefer the Golovkin that fought Danny Jacobs or Derevyanchenko? Because they're all several different types of Golovkin. Now, to be honest with you, when it comes to skill base, he has changed a little bit, and I will touch on those things. So we can talk about his jab and whatnot. But the Golovkin I would want, and first let me ask you, I'm gonna give you a few seconds to answer that. Which Golovkin do you prefer? Okay, you might have said something by now. The Golovkin that I want is the one that was in the second half versus Canelo. He fought beautifully. His counters were very good. And to answer the question of this, what I was asking is basically, I want a sharp Triple G. If he's not sharp that night, obviously, you know, it's not going to look great, because Canelo always brings his A game, and he really can expose Triple G in many ways. But I'm not going to rant too much. I'm going to get to the next bullet point. The next bullet point is not using a successful jab. Now, obviously, we all know that Triple G has a great jab, and my next bullet point will make it more understandable why I bring it up, but it's a little obvious. People are like, come on, Ref. Of course he's going to bring his successful jab, but he's been switching it up a little bit. Now, I would say in the first fight versus Canelo, he used his jab efficiently with a lot of volume, and sometimes he wasn't connecting. Now, mind you, most people had Golovkin winning that fight, but there were things that made you go, oh, or whoa, what's going on? You know, because, you know, obviously in those times we were used to Golovkin finishing guys in 5 rounds, 6 rounds, 4 rounds. You know, when he fought against Kell Brook, you could see Kell Brook deteriorating. You know, like he was just going down. It was slowly just getting hurt and feeling more damaged. You could see it in his face and everything. But when it came to Canelo, he looked like he was out of it, like he was hurt. But at the same time, he was exposing Golovkin. And the jabs that Golovkin was throwing, sometimes they weren't there. They were there in the second fight, but more in the second half. So let's move on to the second point. So, not falling in love with the uppercut. So see, this is one thing where I saw like a growth of his arsenal when it comes to his fighting style and his skill. You know, because you could have all the fundamentals you want. You could have head movement. You could have a style that works for you or whatever. But basically, when it comes to boxers, it all comes down to your personality, what you've learned, and who you were schooled by. So Golovkin has a very much Eastern European style, marches forward, never marches back, and if he does get pushed back, he's going back forward. He's never showing any problems, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to his face. He's very poker face style. But going back to the uppercut, he started to include that a little bit more after the second fight, or I should say during the second fight and after that. Now the reason why I bring it up is that it worked in the second fight because it was new, it was different to his arsenal, and it worked. But I think he was also trying to match Canelo with his uppercut and his different styles of switching it up, because Canelo likes to bring in a lot of power punches, which works for him. Golovkin now, when he started bringing in more uppercuts, I could see that people were starting to tag him a little bit more. So I could see, like with the Danny Jacobs fight, no, not Danny Jacobs, I'm sorry, going to the Derevyanchenko fight. That's a good fight to watch. That's a great fight to replay. I feel like he started to miss the target a little bit more, and he started to go. He started to get hit in the body. Now, it's okay if you can handle those punches to the body, but for some reason Golovkin doesn't handle the punches to the body very well, and I think he wants to go away from getting hit in the face, because I feel like at times, and this is all theoretical, it's possible that he thinks that when he gets hit in the face, it looks more of like a scoring blow than if it were to the body. Now, if it's a body punch, sometimes people don't really score that. They don't really check for that. They're not really looking at that. They're not seeing it as a scoring blow. But when you get hit in the face, it's like, oh, snap. So I think that he's trying to go away from that, and he's implementing the uppercut, and it's making him want to do like a stylistic point, you know, for the judge or whatever. I think he should stay away from that. I think he should go back to the body. He's used to doing body punches and jabs and whatnot, and combinations, and now that he's implementing this uppercut, it just feels like he's trying to show off a little bit more, and he's not caring about the body like he used to. He used to care about the body. He used to go tag the body, and he used to create knockout combinations with that, and now it's just different. So, you know, it's cool if you drop him, but if you do too much with the uppercut, I think it's gonna go downhill. But that's just my take. Ring generalship and letting the fight get ugly and close. So like with Derevyanchenko, same thing. He let the fight get too close. He dropped Derevyanchenko, which made him very frustrated and made him go to his A game. And Derevyanchenko is not a slouch at all. He is a great fighter. Don't get it twisted. I know that in the amateurs he was really doing his thing. So like, we're not here to knock Derevyanchenko in any way. But like I said, ring generalship, that's got to change. Before, Golovkin used to close the ring off, cut the ring off, and it would make it a lot easier for him to control the pace. He did a lot of that with the first fight of Canelo, but I guess he was a little baffled that Canelo just stood in front of him. Obviously, if those ring ropes weren't there, Canelo would have went to the first row, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about ring generalship, and the pace is very important. If he doesn't stay on his A game, which comes down to endurance, then it's going to look ugly for him, because people are so used to him finishing fights so early and being the knockout artist that it looks bad for him. So he has to control that pace in there. Canelo cannot be all comfortable and doing all these movements and stuff. It has to be decisive. Next bullet point, and my last one, is winning more than 7 rounds, which is going to be very tough. You know, I'm saying this in a way where it's like, obviously I'm not in there, I don't practice, you know, I'm not taking these punches, so I'm not trying to act like I have no respect for these guys. I have plenty of respect for them, and I know what they do is hard work. It takes 6 to 8 weeks for them to prep for it. I know they're thinking about it 24/7, so it's not something that's easy. But when it comes to the elite, you have to show the difference. it has to be more of an 8-4 fight. I know it's just 1 round away, but if it's an 8-4 fight, it's easier for the world to score it, because you have so many, fans of Canelo that favor him. Sometimes the first few rounds, he might not even do anything, but they'll give it to him just because they like him. They think he's better than Golovkin. And these are the rounds that you have to be a little bit more on point with, especially those first few rounds. Obviously, you're filling them out, and you never know, a knockout could come at any point. But winning those first few rounds is very important. And if you don't want it to be a 7-5 fight again, you have to win more than 7 rounds. You just have to, because it's just not going to work. With Canelo, his thing is power punches. He's not really setting up anything until you fall too far into his, web, where he's now trying to switch it up on you. Most of the time, Canelo is not looking to cut off the ring on Golovkin, because he knows that Golovkin's going to come first. So that plays into Canelo's favor, because he likes to be chased a little bit. He doesn't always like to stalk. But when he starts to switch it and turn, if he turns Golovkin, and now they're going back and forth, that's when the whole draw thing starts to happen again, where it's tied, and no one knows who they're picking, because obviously we're used to seeing Canelo win or get these knockouts or whatever, or drop people or hurt people. Well, Golovkin's not showing pain on his face, but they're seeing the points, man, and that's what people see. So you gotta stay away from that. At one point, he's gotta hurt Canelo too, because Canelo has a great poker face as well. Let's not get that twisted. He has a really good poker face, and I think that it's gonna be an awesome fight. So that's all I have to say. I wanted to give both sides, so like that people don't just think, oh, he's rooting for Golovkin. Nah, it's not that. I want to see a great fight, and I hope you guys tune in. So that's all I have to say about that. Hopefully I can pick up on some more topics when it comes to either sports media or boxing or anything like that, and I can bring some more video and knowledge to you guys. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Salute, and let's try to keep boxing alive, yo. Peace out.